And then, I finally, did take the doctor up on the offer, and she said, I will get everybody on board. In the morning of the surgery, she walks in and she was like, oh, I am so upset. And we're like, what's the matter? And she goes, I got everybody on board except the anesthesiologist. We're like, please, doctor, you have done so much for us. Don't worry about that. We will cover it.
Right.
And in walks the anesthesiologist, and he looked like he was about 20. And we're like, oh, the poor guy probably has so much medical school bills. But it was really, really honored that she would do something like that.
Right.
And right after my surgery, my story appeared actually a week after my surgery, and the insurance called my husband and said, we've decided to cover her surgery.
No
said,
way.
Yeah. So they said, but just keep it private, who the insurance is. And, if your wife does any more stories and things that, that's kept private, because, I think it's a case-to-case basis.
Yeah.
I think it's getting better in the insurance covering elective surgeries for the, genetic mutations. But it's kind of scary that we have to go through all that.
Well, and that's
here we are.
You're sick and you're fighting for your life as it is, and then to have to take on another fight like that with the insurance company to keep yourself alive, I think is ridiculous. It's ridiculous. However, kudos to you for advocating for yourself, because how many people, you're an inspiration, because many people will get that denial and they'll just say, okay. And they won't ever have it done. And then who knows what happens, right? Whether they actually succumb to the disease or whether they're one of the lucky ones and they can, stay in remission. But good for you for advocating and just showing that you can fight that. And you went on faith because you didn't even know that the insurance company was going to come back and say yes. Wow.
Yeah, I know. And that was because so many people, we are denied so many things. I mean, they denied my being tested for the BRCA gene. I had to pay that out of pocket. I never did get that covered, which now I think is better. I think things are getting better in that area of cancer care. But people don't realize that you can continue, to put in appeals and things like that with the insurance, and you don't feel good. Who wants to start doing that? And that's why you need kind of an advocate. You need to put that whole group together of your doctors, family, friends, who all share, in your healing and what it's going to take to heal you, and not be afraid to ask people for help.
That's right.
And
Michael, my husband was sick for 20 years. And so we too dealt with insurance companies and fighting them. And I know he would always use the power of the Indiana Department of Insurance. And so when something would happen or they would fight a claim or whatever, then he would just throw that hat in the ring and he'd say, well, that's fine. Can I have your name and your number? And I'm just going to contact the department, Indiana Department of Insurance. And all of a sudden it was interesting how many things we got done. So
oh my gosh.
Yes. So I get it.
And I'm sure your husband, to be his own advocate is really hard when you're not feeling good.
You know that firsthand. So when did you finish treatment with the second round of cancer then?
So the second round, then I went through, the lumpectomy and chemotherapy, and then I went on to have a double mastectomy and the ovary removal.
Okay.
And
did the insurance company cover the double mastectomy, or was that considered elective?
Yes.
Okay, they did. Okay, good.
Yeah, because we were afraid of that too, because they gave me a lumpectomy.
Yes.
And now I'm having the elective because I carry the gene.
Right.
So that, we were afraid of that, but they did come through with that one. I didn't have to fight that. And,
good.
It was, that's something that you don't even think about when, you all of a sudden get a cancer diagnosis and you think it's going to just go all smooth, and there's not one size fits all. That's for sure.
That's right.
And and then I was diagnosed in 2015 with Barrett's esophagus with high-grade dysplasia, which was more of a precancer condition.
Okay.
I've always had acid reflux, hiatal hernias, And when I got osteoporosis from the high dose chemo and my bones were more brittle, every time they would put me on a chemo medicine, a bone medicine, it would be the acid reflux would get worse. So they would take me off them, and then they started putting me just on once a year infusions. And a doctor who was giving me a colonoscopy said, can I give you an upper GI too? I've read your history. You carry the BRCA gene. Your father had throat cancer. And so after he gave me the colonoscopy and the upper GI, he's just shaking his head after, and he says, "Are you sure you're not in pain?" He said, "I've never seen so much inflammation in an esophagus."
Wow.
He said, "I'm going to give you some medicine. I want you to clear it up because I don't even want to go in there and biopsy yet." He said, "And after a couple months, we'll go back in there." And it still was, the inflammation was down, but I still had the Barrett's. It was still at the high-grade dysplasia. He said, "I'm going to send you to one of the universities. They're doing a procedure called radioablation." It's only, I think it's about 10, 15 years old. So they kind of ablate the esophagus of the Barrett's. And so the doctor down at Northwestern in Chicago said, "It's probably going to take 2 to 3 treatments to get rid of your Barrett's." Well, once he got into my esophagus, he said, "Oh, you've got nodules too that we need to remove first." And it was during the procedures can only be every 2 months because you have to heal.
Right.
Your esophagus has to heal. So during the second treatment of removing the nodules, one of the nodules had turned to cancer. But it was superficial. He removed it, he did radioablation, and then just continued every 2 months on getting rid of the rest of the Barrett's. So
my goodness.
Now I'm at once a year. So last August, it ended up taking till 2018.
To get everything cleared up.
Everything cleared up. And now I'm on once a year, like I'm due again in 2 weeks to go back down. Last August, it was fine. Everything was looking good. It's staying stable with the medication, but they would like me to fix my hiatal hernia, but I kind of have put that aside.
Yeah, I would think so too, right? With everything else, you just kind of get tired of doctors after a while, don't you? It's just, I don't want to see another doctor. That's right. If I go my whole life. So with that one, so it's just a yearly, you didn't have to go through any chemo or radiation or anything with wonderful. And do they feel like the 3 were related at all, or was it just a luck of the draw kind of thing?
They know that my esophagus was caused by medications and things like that, and my hiatal hernia. It's kind of where my stomach and esophagus don't meet, right?
Yes.
And then the breast cancers, they were opposite breasts, but it was like exact. I mean, same size, same. It was just really strange. It was like it just flipped over to the other side. But yeah, so they just said, "Karen, you just have a bad mutation." But I mean, it was 15 years in between, so I was lucky to do that, to be able to get through. And so,
Well, you are an amazing inspiration to continue to fight. And, I'm so grateful that we will have the opportunity to share your story, because I know that, unfortunately, women are diagnosed every day. And it's why you inspire me is because of the fact that you are here to still tell your story, that you fought it not once, but 3 times, and that you're still here. And actually, we're almost out of time. So I'm hoping, I would love for you to come back and be another guest again, because we didn't even get into the oncology, the skincare.
Where I work.
No.
Why I became an esthetician. That was the next session. See?
So
I know we needed to shorten that.
No. I wanted all of this. So I'm going to say thank you for joining me today. And I would appreciate if you would come back and be my guest again.
Sure, I would love that.
Great. Awesome.
And
well,
I do like to tell that portion of it because, sometimes I tend to gloss over it, but I think it's important to kind of get that out there, and everybody, you're not alone for those who are fighting this. And you can go on to live a normal life, and
that's right,
grow from it. But yeah, we'll get into why I became an esthetician. That would
be great. I would love to have you back. So if you have any questions or comments about the guests on our show, or would like more information about Hello Gorgeous, feel free to contact me at kbecker@hellogorgeous.org, or visit our website at www.hellogorgeous.org. Thank you so much for joining me today on Hello Gorgeous, everything beauty, cancer, and inspiration. I'm your host, Kim